With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. All right, welcome to another episode of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. It's 2025, so it is now officially the 5th day of the brand new year, and I thought it was an opportune time to talk about a subject that most people have set in their sights at the early stages of a brand new year. And who better to talk that with than my amazingly beautiful wife, Monique. Hello, Monique. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I've also got Jakey boy here.
Yeah, Jake's here. I don't know how much he'll participate. He might bark, so if anyone hears a dog barking, don't be alarmed. It's just Jake barking at the neighbours. But yeah, goal setting is what I wanted to speak about, but more specifically, how to achieve your goals. Because a lot of people have goals they want to achieve, but they don't actually follow through, or they don't actually action them, or they don't actually see them to the end. It tends to be a very common practice at this time of year. We're all very pumped to start a new year. We're all excited. We've got big ambitions, but come a couple of months down the track, a lot of those things have gone to the wayside because life gets in the way. So you are, or have, distributed the first part of a series of ebooks, what do we call it? Ish. Emails, help books, guide books, something along those lines.
I don't think you can call something that's an email, a 2-page attachment, an ebook.
Okay, but it's also a resource guide.
A bit of stuff.
But the point of it was to go out to your distribution list regarding helping them achieve their goals, right? Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to elaborate on what that looks like, but also particularly the first one that's gone out, and then obviously as we wrap up towards the end, you can tell people how they can get involved in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, anyone that is on my mailing list would have received this first one last week, and being that today is Monday, or when this podcast is going to be released will be Monday, the next one will have gone out.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this and you're confused, it's because technically we're now 2 weeks in. But the first one, and I probably should start this off with, the reason I thought about this was because I was reflecting over, as I do, on my own previous year's goals and just doing some research around it, because obviously as a life coach, what I do is goal setting with people. And this time of year, you get bombarded with the messaging of, and I've seen it, and I actually can't believe that it's 2025 and we still have this whole new year, new me. There is so much, it's just, in my opinion, toxic news resolution BS, basically.
You can swear.
Yeah, but I'm going to be polite.
Okay.
So instead of thinking you need to change your whole life, and also we know for a fact that that's not how this works.
Yeah.
You can't just suddenly decide after 10, 20, 30 years of whatever habit that suddenly on Monday, the 1st of January or whatever it was, I'm no longer going to do that. So the first email that went out was talking about reflection. And if you're someone that sets new goals at the start of every year, you really do need to sit and stop before you write your next lot of new goals and just reflect and say, those goals I set last year, did I actually achieve them? And if I didn't achieve them, why didn't I achieve them? What happened throughout the year? What challenges came up for me? And also too, if you did achieve them, congratulations. Sit in that gratitude for a while and congratulate yourself and be like, yes, I'm amazing, I did that. But what happened throughout the year to prevent you? What got in your way? Like, acknowledging those things is really, really important. And I do think we skip over that. We go straight to setting new goals without actually thinking about, okay, hang on, wait. What about those goals I set last year? As a PT, you know this. You have people that come back year after year after year. I want to lose 10 kilos this year. Then the next year, I want to lose 10 kilos. Then the next year, I want to lose 10 kilos. Maybe now it's 12 because I've put on a few more. Like, the same goals are set at the start of every year.
Yeah.
And if we don't reflect, we won't never learn.
No, that's it. If you don't learn, you don't know. If you don't know, you can't change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair call. So what is the recommendation, or what is your suggestion around reflecting? Do they grab a pen and paper? Do they sit down with a cup of tea? Do they go out into the backyard? Like, what does it look like in terms? And obviously, it's going to be specific to the individual.
I think it's different to everybody.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, I know you work really well in a busy cafe.
Yeah.
That is hell to me. So, grab a pen and paper, or if a pen and paper is not your thing and you'd rather type, then you type.
Yeah.
Like, don't put a wall up that you have to do it a certain way, because that's just resistance to it. So find what works for you. But find 10, 20, 30 minutes. The more you can give to it, the deeper you can go, the more honest you can be with yourself. Don't try and do this in your head in 2 or 3 minutes. Like, actually, no. Sit down with a pen and paper. Sit down with your computer, wherever, whatever. And really reflect back. How did I go with my goals last year? Maybe you didn't even set any.
Yeah, that's true.
But then ask the question, but why didn't I? Was there a reason? Think about it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we've established the why in terms of reflection, why we did, why we didn't. What's the next step? So how do we actually create the new goals, but more importantly, achieve them?
You're jumping too far ahead, Paulie.
Well, you wrote the book. I'm just here to host the podcast.
I know, it's hilarious because you did actually read it.
I did read it, actually. It's very good.
It was a 20-page book, and I've realised that was way too much in one hit, so I've broken it up.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would now jump straight to, what are my goals for the year?
Yeah.
But I'm going to slide something in here first, because we're almost there, but something else first. And I've spoken about this several times before, and you're looking at me so blank-faced because you don't remember. Before you get to actually setting your goals for the year, I want you to think of an overarching word of the year.
Oh, that's right.
So what is a word that's going to help guide you with your goals? What's a word that when you get to December 31, you can look back and think, yep, I lived up to that word. You know, it could be a feelings-based word. It could be a random word that just has significance. So it could be something like abundance. This year I want to feel abundant in everything I do.
Didn't you have thrive as a word one year?
I had thrive, absolutely. I wanted to feel like everything I did was thriving.
Yep.
It could be like slow. Maybe you've had some busy years and now you just want to slow down. What are some other ones?
Oh, it could be, I don't know, ambitious, exciting.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Adventurous.
Happy. Positive.
Happy.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many words you could choose from. And the reason that having this word, it's almost like a bit of a North Star. So when you're making a decision throughout the year, you can think to yourself, okay, my word of the year was excitement. This thing I've been asked to do, is this going to align with me this year? Do I feel like this fits in my vision for the year? It's just a good check-in. Because when it comes to achieving our goals, now these are the bits that matter. It's those moments where we can check in through the year.
Absolutely. So how do you check in?
You ask yourself.
Okay, so do you need to set reminders to do that on a regular basis? Do you need to... How do you hold yourself accountable to this, I guess, is what I'm asking. Or am I jumping ahead again?
You be a grown-up and just hold yourself accountable to it.
Well, that's a fair point.
But no, that's why having this word, okay, so I probably should also mention here with this word, it's a really good idea to have it somewhere you see.
Yeah.
So maybe you write it on your mirror in your bedroom.
Visual
maybe
cues.
you have it on your phone. But find this word and actually spend the next week or so leaning into it. And you'll know if it's the right word for you or not.
Yep.
Because you'll either have resistance to it or feel like, no, this is how I want my year to feel. And just keep checking in with it. Like if you want this year to be very much focused around building your career, then maybe you need to choose a word that's like that. And then when you're presented opportunities, you go, oh, does this suit my theme for the year?
That's a good idea.
It's just literally just checking in with yourself when something presents.
Yep. Okay. So we've done the reflection.
Yep.
We've created a word.
Yep.
We've plastered it all over the house.
Yep.
Objectively, of course. What's the next stage of this process?
Now,
go on.
Now we set the goals.
Now we set the goals. All right. So this is the juicy part.
So I think it's important that we've done those other 2 steps first.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you don't want to fail this if you've done it before and failed it multiple times.
Yeah. So it's important that we set the goals. And we did talk a lot about goals in a previous podcast. So I think if you're someone that wants some more insight on specifically how to set the goals, definitely go back and listen to that. Maybe we can look it up and find the show number and put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah.
But definitely set goals, and the important part with setting your goals is that they actually matter to you. And this is why doing that reflection first, what is my word for the year, how do I want to feel this year, leads perfectly into now that I've done all that mental work, what goals do I actually want this year? Because I want to lose 10 kilos. Maybe you actually don't give a damn about 10 kilos, and what you actually want is to feel comfortable down the beach in a bikini.
Yeah.
So you could spend your whole year trying to lose that 10 kilos and never lose it. Maybe you lose 8 and get to the end of the year and think you failed your goal. But along the way, you've become more confident. So you have worn that bikini to the beach multiple times. But because that was never your goal to begin with, you think you failed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So sometimes we get mixed up in what we think the goal is or should be versus what it actually is for us. And then we think we've failed. When no, the thing that actually was important, we've achieved it. And we get hung up on the wrong part.
Cool. All right. That's good. I'm just sort of processing it as I go.
But do you think people do that? I know from my perspective, as a life coach, people do come to me with a goal, because that's one of the first questions I ask them in the pre-questionnaire is, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And I honestly can tell you, 8 out of 10 people, by the time we get through that initial part, that's not their goal.
It's changed.
You've actually got to the heart of what it actually means, of what it actually is.
Well, I think that's important because, you know, anything in life that you want to achieve, it's got to have meaning. It's got to have purpose. You've got to be driven to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to throw in the towel after 3 months or whatever the case might be. So if you're actually, like you said, getting to the heart of it, it's going to hold you accountable, and you're going to continually work towards it.
It doesn't have to just be health and fitness related either.
No.
This could be career, could be lifestyle, any general lifestyle. Like I read an article recently about a woman who for the last 3 years has been trying naturally to fall pregnant and hasn't. And then she was like, I actually don't want kids. But she had so much external noise and so much external pressure.
Yeah, right.
That that was the next step in their journey. So they spent 3 years trying, and then when it came time to, okay, it's not working, we need to try medical intervention here. Then she went, you know what? I actually don't want this. So you can see how it's very easy to get caught up in someone else's goals and dreams for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think everyone listening can at some stage in their life say that they've gone along with something that they didn't actually want, whether it was a goal or something you set out. But I think a lot of us have done that.
Yeah.
We've gone along with something because someone else's thought or opinion of it.
Yep. Been influenced by someone else, social media, whatever the case may be, yeah.
And I find people with their goals, they set goals that they think they should set.
Yeah. Yeah, they think.
Yeah.
Not what they actually want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting clear on those goals, the goals that are yours and no one else's.
Yeah, I guess the simple message here is, for a goal setting opportunity, don't just sit down and start writing them out. Go through the process.
Yeah.
Take your time, because what you write out might be very surface level.
And don't think of your goals just as a to-do list.
Yeah.
Like actually write them out so they actually mean something. And when you do read it, you're like, oh, yes. And think beyond just achieving. So sometimes when we achieve goals, we get there and we go, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Like it's that little bit of a letdown, because it's like you've built this up to be this great big thing. So really lean in and think to yourself, okay, if I achieve this, what does that actually mean for me?
Yeah.
What changes? What doesn't change? How does this impact my life? How does this impact my relationship? Whatever it may be. But lean into also, when you achieve this, what comes next? So that when you get to the end, you don't just go, oh, is that it?
Anticlimactic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And that does happen a lot with people.
Yeah. Well, then they're heavily deflated because it's supposed to be this big event that never really happened.
So much pressure on it, and then nothing.
Well, and you know what, that raises a good point, is that pressure you put on yourself too. I think that can have a big role to play in terms of success or failure. External pressure is one thing, and you'll probably get that anyway, particularly if it's, health or weight loss or finances, or set yourself up for success or whatever. But your own pressure can lead you to just get frustrated and throw in the towel as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we've written down our goals, we've established our goals, we've gone through this process.
Yeah.
How do we actually go about making them happen?
We've got one more step before that.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is your thing.
I love that you've not remembered anything, and we are literally just flying by.
Look, to the listeners, I did read it. I promise you I did read it. I didn't do a husband skim over. But I have since forgotten a lot of it as well, obviously.
I would also like to let the listeners know that I didn't say let's do a podcast on this. You have nagged me about it.
I know, because when I read it, it was a great idea. And I thought, there's a good podcast here. Unfortunately, a week and a half has gone by and my brain's like a sieve.
And Christmas and New Year's and family events.
Yeah, I know. So, all right, so what's the step we've missed, or I missed?
Let's do a quick recap. So we've reflected on the past year. We've set our word for the year, the way we want to feel for the year ahead.
Yep.
We've set our meaningful goals that matter to us. The next step is we're going to lean into the visualization of this.
Okay.
So, this is something people love or hate. And if you've never done this before, I really do encourage you to do it, because I've had so many people tell me that this felt quite life-changing for them, and it did also help them get clarity with some goals that they weren't too sure on. And that's create a vision board for it. Vision board is so powerful because it's that visual anchor. It's not just something in your head, it is now something visual that you're going to see every day. Now, with a vision board, you can just print off a bunch of pictures, you can cut out magazines, you can stick it on the wall, you can have it just personal on your computer or on your phone. So whatever is going to work best for you, wherever you are going to see it often. It doesn't want to be something that you do once and then it's thrown in the back of the cupboard, because it defeats the whole purpose of it. We're talking about how to make sure we keep checking in with our goals, checking in with ourselves, and achieving them is by having a visual cue every day.
Yep.
So Pinterest, Google Images,
yeah,
magazines, like I said, there are so many places you can get photos. Photos of something very specific, or photos of something that represents a feeling or a thing or a place or a thought. So, for example, a vision board, you may want to travel internationally this year. Okay, where are you going? Put the pictures. Now, one other thing with a vision board that I like to tell people to do is try to find a picture that feels like you are there. So if you want to travel to Paris this year, don't just put a picture of like Paris map. No, put a picture of the balcony that you want to be sitting on looking out over the Eiffel Tower. Give your brain that illusion of you are there. If you want a new kitchen renovation this year, don't just put the picture of the floor plan. No, put a picture that feels like you're standing in there next to your sink. Really bring yourself into the visualization of this.
From fantasy to reality.
Absolutely, just help check in with yourself with it. It's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, it would be, because you're looking at travel destinations and fancy cars and renovation stuff.
And this is why I can help you collect clarity on your goals as well.
Yeah.
Because you may start looking into some of these goals you've got written down and going, oh, actually, no, I'm not interested anymore. Helps get some good clarity. A vision board also is not just a materialistic board of crap though either.
So no Louis Vuitton handbags?
Absolutely, there is definitely some Louis Vuitton handbags. But don't let it feel like it's a shopping list.
Yeah.
It should, if working on your relationship is important this year, you may have some pictures of couples holding hands.
Yeah.
You may have some pictures of candlelit dinners. If friendships is important to you this year, you may have some pictures of just groups of women laughing, or cups of coffee on a table. Like, don't take the imagery too literally, But if you want a blue car, get a photo of that blue car. Don't put a red one on there.
Yeah.
So have a play with it. And like I said, you can print it out. You could even make it on Pinterest and then print it out on a poster size and then stick it on your wall.
Yeah.
Don't let there become a barrier to doing this.
You should run a workshop on that.
Could do.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've created your vision board, whether it's digital, physical, bit of both maybe. So that's obviously highlighted what the goals are.
Yeah, it's really anchored into.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got your list, you've got you've written everything down, you've created that reflection, you've done the vision board. What's next? Because I'm not going to jump to a conclusion because I'll be wrong.
No, well, this is the final piece.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
So what do you think it is?
Well, it's action. I guess, and I did read this. God, my memory's terrible. It'd have to be something along the lines of actually the process of getting to the goal now, the physical process.
So one quote that I love and I pull out often by Zig Ziglar is be, do, have. So now we need to definitely lean into the process.
Yep.
We need to lean into, okay, someone who has this already, how do they show up in the world? What does their day-to-day look like? What are their habits? Because success leaves clues, right? Yep. So what habits do I need now that are going to get me where I want to be at the end of this year? So that's our process. Because sometimes it's easy just to go, I want this, and I'm just going, for example, say it's a weight loss goal. Okay, I want to lose 10 kilos, I'm just going to cut out carbs.
I've heard that plenty of times.
Someone who weighs 10 kilos less than you hasn't just cut out carbs to do that.
No.
They probably wake up earlier than you do. They probably go to bed earlier than you do. They probably drink more water than you. They probably spend less time on their screen. Like, what are the habits? What are the things that this person does on a daily? We are going to do them now. We're going to be that person now to have that end result later.
I like that. And it's true too, because, you know, as a coach, you're often encouraged to surround yourself with those, either your peers or the leaders in your field. And if you surround yourself with either of those, you're going to learn and you're going to just elevate your own skill set and knowledge, and it applies to everything.
Yeah. We often hear people say, when I have X, I'll do Y.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
There's always, but that's almost an excuse, isn't it?
But it's getting it backwards. It's like the people that may say, like, when I lose 5 kilos, then I'll join the gym. Because there's that fear of joining the gym, which is completely, absolutely something that people can feel. And I'm not saying that that's stupid or anything like that. But if you join the gym first, you're going to get closer to your 5 kilos.
Absolutely. That's a big step.
You hear people say, when I have more money, I'll do X. Well, maybe if you start putting some habits in place now of that person who already does that and has that, you'll get there quicker.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes think, I've got these goals and they're big and they're scary, and they tread water for a long time. So if you look into the future, look into that person who you're trying. And when I say look at that person you're trying to be, I'm not talking about someone else. I'm talking about future you. So if you, and this is why the vision boards are really powerful as well, because you're really leaning into that vision of that future person. Who am I? Who do I want to be? And yes, life throws you curveballs. Absolutely. You can't control your narcissistic ex that you're raising children with. You can't control your crazy mother-in-law. You can't control that you might get really sick. But you can control a lot of other factors right here, right now.
Well, you can potentially improve the ability not to get sick by improving your health, right?
And you can also, by working towards your goals, be a generally happier person who can much easier deal with issues that throw up in life.
100%. Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, we've learned that firsthand. You can, if you're in a better frame of mind, if you're stronger, more resilient, mental strength, positivity, things that get thrown at you tend to bounce off. You got more armor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's because you're living the life you want to be living.
Yep.
And like I said, life will still throw you curveballs.
Yes.
And the universe, 100%, whatever you believe in God, the universe, Mother Nature, it doesn't matter. You say, I want this, it's going to push back and say, how much?
Yeah.
Things will get thrown up in your face, and you have to overcome them to come to that next level.
Well, nothing worth achieving is easy, right?
No,
it's not meant to be.
but I truly believe the universe presents extra challenges along the way when you're striving for something bigger, because you need to be stronger to hold that bigger thing you're going for.
Yep.
Now, I often think about people that are really broke and are struggling and living week to week, and then suddenly win a lot of money. You see it a lot with lotto winners. And then in 3-5 years time, they're in a worse position than when they started.
Yeah.
Because they didn't learn the skills and how to manage that money while building it. And our goals sometimes can be like that. We need to have these challenges presented to us along the way to help us learn the skills to reach the next level.
Well, you learn more from failing and challenges than you do from winning, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the only way to learn.
So that's my steps. So we reflect on the year that was. We have our word for the year that's going to guide us, be our North Star. We have our meaningful goals that are ours and no one else's. We have our vision board, which we're anchoring into. And we have our habits. We're going to be the person that does the things and have the things.
Sorry, go.
And then after that,
Yep.
we just get to work.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. You just have to work.
You've got to action the step. It's all well and good to go through this process, but at the end of the day, it's not going to come to fruition unless you do something about it.
No, and absolutely it won't. And if you take this and go and do this, well done. You are already so far ahead of other people that set New Year's resolutions that never come true.
Yep.
And we did a podcast last year.
Yeah.
And the stat on people whose New Year's resolutions fail
it's like
by
90%.
February
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculously high.
And the new year, there's just something refreshing about feeling like you've got a brand new year, whole clean slate.
Yep.
So I get why people love the idea of New Year's resolutions, but it doesn't mean you throw the last year in the bin.
No.
You learn from that and you grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you have to get to work.
So that might be an awkward situation on its own. Like doing this could present some challenges, but obviously it's just the individual.
Yeah.
You know, just their mind, their creativity, their goals, etc. But then when they actually have to put steps in place, it could be very challenging. So how does that become less challenging? How do they oversee that? How do they get over those obstacles if there is still a little bit of resistance, even though they know what they want?
Get out of your own way. I'm serious though, like it's going to be challenging. It's like I had someone say to me once, well, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
And
actually,
my response back to them was, that's the point. If it was that easy, everyone would have it, everyone would be doing it, and it would just be.
Yep.
Like life, when you're going for your goals, and things are going to be hard, and sometimes people want the easy way out. And I received an email from a supplement company a week or so ago, and when I opened it up, and I sent it to you as well, the big bold text was lose weight the lazy way.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
And I was like, what the hell?
Yep.
Stop looking for the easy way out. Stop looking for the quick fix. Right? Because what goes up quick comes down quicker.
Oh, yeah.
So if throughout the year you're finding that you're losing momentum, you're not feeling as inspired, go back to the things we've just talked about. Okay, so reflect on the last couple of months, the last month, last few weeks, whatever it was. Okay, what's changed? Okay, revisit your word. Is your word still your word? Has something happened? Has something changed? Look at your goals. Have you realized that they don't actually matter anymore? Have your goals shifted? Have your priorities shifted? Look at your vision board. Have you missed something? Have you forgotten? Have you not anchored in? Have you not reflected with that? And you may find that's all the motivation you need. Or maybe you're just like, you know what? I need more people to help me now.
Yeah.
So maybe I do need to speak to my coach. Maybe I do need someone else, another mentor.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to become very individual for whoever the person is and what their goals are that they're trying to achieve. But it doesn't happen without work, and it doesn't happen without checking in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't really have more to add to that. That's really good. So, given that you've created this list, and obviously, look, it's not like you've made it up. It's out there. For
I have not recreated the wheel.
No. This process is obviously very legit, but at the same time, it's been around for a long time. But you're just putting a fresh spin on it. So, if people want to get this document that you're sending out, how do they do it? Because obviously, we're a week behind in terms of the cycle you've sent, but you've broken it down into really easy pieces, haven't you?
I've broken it down into essentially each topic area.
Yep.
So if you do want a copy and you're not on my mailing list already and you haven't received the first week 2 now, just send me a message on Instagram. That's easy. And I can add you in and send the first.
And it's completely free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're just trying to help.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we go too far down that path, I was going to ask you, from your perspective, if someone comes to you and says, at the start of the year, I've set these goals, these are the goals that I want to achieve, and they lose momentum, what would be your thing, your go-to?
What would be my go-to? It's a hard one because it is very individually based. But look, I've actually had a lot of clients lose that quote-unquote momentum over this period because it's a challenging period, right?
Yeah.
Other things become priority. But you've got to revisit your why. You've got to revisit your goal. You've got to revisit. I always say, why did you sign up with me in the first place? What was the point?
Yeah.
It was obviously strong enough to make that investment, to sign on the dotted line, to, make a commitment. Sometimes you just have to remember what that was. Absolutely. And then revisit it, and then reestablish the the parameters around how you got started in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you've always got the support of a coach or whoever's working with you, a mentor. But at the end of the day, no one's going to do it for you.
No one is going to do it for you.
Exactly. And look, I will openly admit I've had people walk away because they've just lost momentum and they can't sort of see themselves getting out of it, even with multiple interventions from myself. And that's okay. Maybe it's just not their time.
Yeah.
And they'll have to do some self-work on themselves. But more often than not, it's just a case of a few conversations, maybe a video call or two, recreating or re-establishing the why and the strength within the goals and going from there. And it's okay to start again as well.
But you're never starting again. You're starting from experience.
Yeah. That's I remember that quote, actually. That's a really good point because, you're starting with the history and with the experience and with the knowledge that you've learned along the way when you failed.
Exactly.
So you're in a much stronger position anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen that before where people have tried to lose weight or I'll use weight loss because I'm thinking of a specific situation.
Yeah.
They've tried it 5, 6, 7 times, but every time that they, in their opinion, have failed, they've gotten back up quicker. And then the next time they've gone again, they've lost more than they did the first time.
Yep.
And that failure, when that happens, it doesn't last as long. So then now they're in a much better position. But if they had just quit after 1 or 2 times because they went, nah, it's not for me.
Yep.
You've got to show resilience. You've got to show patience.
Patience is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, patience is a big one. No matter what the goal, you've got to give it time. And unfortunately, we're obviously very busy at the moment.
Yeah.
We're very quick to make judgment, quick to the whole dopamine hit. What's the term I'm looking for? Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've kind of got to push that to the side and just prepare from the very start to be patient and do the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There was something else and I can't remember now.
No, that's all right. But if someone wanted to get a mentor or engage in a coach, that would be obviously a strong recommendation because that's going to provide another level of accountability, right?
Absolutely. And you can get a coach or mentor in just about anything you want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yes, you're going to have to pay for that. So maybe if you can't afford to pay for it, you can just speak to somebody who you know is already living and is already in that space and get some tips. And then when you're ready and financially able to take that next step, you jump on board and do that.
There's also plenty of resources available as well.
There are so many resources, and I always say to people, sign up to the newsletters of the people that you would love to work with one day.
Yep.
I have got one email that is just full of great newsletters and resources from people who I would love to, really would love to work with one day, but it's not in my near future. It's not now. And some people in there that I probably will never work with, but I just really love their content and I really love reading and listening to what they have to say. Absolutely. Sign up to newsletters. Follow people on social media. Social media gets such a bad rap, But if you're following people that you find inspiring and motivating and are helping you get to where you want to be, your Instagram should be a fucking sunshine. It should be amazing, and you should never leave it feeling lesser.
Yeah, it's how you use it, right?
It's how you use it.
Yeah. That's right, because the algorithm will just work out what you like and what you don't like.
Unless you have people that send you really dumb reels all the time, then that just throws your algorithm right off.
Yeah. I won't name names, but they know who they are.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you've just got to... I think another thing too that we didn't touch on is you've got to believe.
Good point.
You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that you're worthy. You've got to believe that you can do this and you can have this.
Yeah.
And it may not turn out exactly how you thought, but it could turn out 100 times better than you ever thought.
What do you got to lose?
Exactly.
What is the worst thing that's going to happen if you actually start this?
Yeah.
Imagine.
You
know, and if you get the toxic noise from the family members or the colleagues or whatever, why are you doing that? What is that? Well, that's all. Stuff them like that. This is your journey. It's no one else's.
I saw someone say something the other day, and I'm going to stuff this up now.
Paraphrase.
No. She was talking about, because it was obviously prior to Christmas, she was talking about those toxic family members that judge you for the choices you're making.
Yep.
And we're not talking about dangerous choices. We're talking about just like healthy life, career, business choices, whatever. She was talking about never let someone who you wouldn't switch places with, their opinions and thoughts on you matter. So she was basically saying if you have a family member who you would not want to switch lives with, what they have to say is not important.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how she was navigating that.
That's a good idea.
And I was like, that's just a good like circuit breaker for you. If someone's judging the choices you're making and is making... Because people will make comments from their triggered state, because you being successful will definitely trigger some people. But if you don't want to swap lives with that person, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No, it comes from a place, more often than not, it comes from a place of insecurity.
Yeah. Because
you're doing something they can't. Or
something
won't.
they won't.
Or won't, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, by all means, go for it. And you know what? I often say when I start with someone, whether they're going to do just complete transformation or they're going to get on the bodybuilding stage or whatever, they'll get people saying, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?" At the end of the journey or towards the end of the journey, they'll have the same people come up to me and go, "How did you do that?"
Absolutely, it happens every time.
Yep. And that's when the pride kicks in, and you should scream to the rooftops and be really proud of what you've done.
Yep.
Cool.
Happy days.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
No.
Just, you know what, that quote, just fuck around and find out. Go all in on yourself and see what the fuck can happen.
Well, I think, we live one life, so why not take a punt? Take a chance.
Depends what you believe.
Yeah.
But some of us believe we come back.
Yes, okay.
So when we come back, I'm coming back as a Jakey boy.
Why? Because he hasn't moved?
A poodle in a family that... Well, I saw a thing the other day, and it was when I come back, I'm coming back as a dog to a childless couple.
Yeah, makes sense, right? Because you become the child. Fair cool. You get to eat steak and you get to travel around in a car and have a great life. Yeah, fair enough.
We are not childless, but he may as well be the fourth child.
Okay.
But go all in. See what happens.
What do you got to lose?
Why not?
Well, I don't need to ask you any questions because that's probably a good question to end on. What would you come back as in a former life?
A poodle for a
poodle.
rich... Do you know what, though? Maybe a poodle of, like, a rich gay couple.
Yeah, that'd work. You'd be carried around in handbags and
it'd be
you'd be on the back of
so
trolleys
pampered.
and you'd be in the back of their Merc. And
if anyone wants to know what my Instagram algorithm looks like, it's pretty much that.
Yeah, I get a lot
Spoiled
of dog reels
dogs.
sent over to me. Oh, dear. All right, well, thank you, Mon. Muchly appreciated. So if people want to reach out to you, how do they find you? Because you've got a new Instagram page. I did mention in the last one, but
it's also
revisit it.
It's also not new. It's been around a while.
Okay, awesome. I'm on fire today.
Well, there's the two Instagram pages. So just Monique_Hooper_ or my coaching one, which is Monique_Hooper_coach.
Okay. So if you want
either or,
and you'll find your way to Monty and just request to be on the mailing list, and then you'll be part of this one. Now you're going to potentially do some videos on this as well, hey?
There will be some videos come through with some of them, just because I think it'll give me the opportunity to go into a little bit more depth on what I actually mean by some of these, because obviously email is great, but I'm aware of the fact that sometimes you don't want to read an email for 10 minutes.
No, that's right.
It's a lot. So email, the one that went out originally had a couple of pages, like a downloadable resource with it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's a fair point. Like, if it's audio and video, they can listen to it while they're...
Mix and match.
Yeah, in the car or at the gym.
The videos will not be that long. They'll be a few minutes.
There you go. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, jump on across to Mon and follow her. Request the link or the access to the database or the mailing list if you wish.
Yeah.
But other than that, welcome to 2025. So there's plenty of more great guests coming up. I've already lined up a couple for the coming weeks. But if anyone has any that they'd like me to reach out to, let me know, because I'm more than happy to send someone a DM that I don't know, and I'll just politely request and see if they're interested. So that can always happen.
Also, I do want to say one more thing is, if you are interested in this life coaching stuff, like, send me a DM and say, hey, can we just jump on a quick discovery call?
Yeah.
So I do free 15-minute discovery calls for people that are like, what is it? I want to know more. I'm not too sure. Let me know the details. Like, no pressure. I'm not going to sales, like...
No, we don't sell hard here.
Sales call. If you don't get the vibe, then I don't want to force it, because then nothing doesn't work.
No.
So if you are interested in that, please just
yeah. Well, you might be listening and have some massive goals that you want to achieve, but are just a little bit unsure how to go about it.
Yeah, and it's just like, the great thing with life coaching is it's not me telling you how to achieve your goals. It's me just being there as someone you can talk to.
Yep.
Someone to ask the questions and help guide you, because sometimes we have these big goals and we just want someone to like riff over it with a bit of accountability for your actions and just help get you there.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Mon.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody. As always, if you are interested in any of my coaching services, jump on paulsbodyengineering.com.
Are you sure?
I need to sort of get my voice back for these podcasts. paulsbodyengineering.com, or send me a DM via Instagram, or jump on the link in my Instagram bio. But other than that, as I say to every client every single day, have a great day. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.